So Deborah did not tell me that this was going to be her last little hurrah, and that I would be her swan song. So I'm going to apologize to all of you right now that this is going to be a bit off the rails, but I'm hoping you're going to take a bit out of what it is that I'm going to be presenting with you over the next hour or so. You're going to see a few pictures of my kids, and this was really hard to do because my kids right now, Zoe is 17, my son Jackson is 15. I had to get permission from them to put pictures up here, and they would not allow me to go above about 7 or 8 for either of them, so a lot of child-ish pictures as such, but you'll find out that my kids were really the largest catalyst for why I'm up on this stage talking to all of you right now. That's kind of our agenda. It's not a whole lot, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to get through all of this together, and hopefully you'll learn a bit or two, I hope. So, Chapter 1, Finding Policy in Plain Sight. I'm wondering if, I guess by a show of hands, how did you all get here today? Like, how do you normally get to school? Can I just see a raise of hands of people that walk? Wow, wild. Keep those hands up, and I'll keep them up. Can I get, who rode a bike here? Those people stand up. Okay, all right, good. And this is not to shame, I just need to know. How many people drove here? Okay, so the drivers, no, this is not a bad thing. The drivers, or at least 2 of the drivers, can I have you come up on stage with me? I just need 2 of you. We did carpool. That's okay, that's all right. That's all right. Okay, so we've got the cyclists standing, and I've got a whole bunch of pedestrians. So cyclists, you can sit down. Pedestrians, I need you to stand up for me. I know, I'm getting you up, I'm getting you moving. All right. So for the people that did have to walk, can you raise your hand if you felt safe while walking to this school? Why did you feel safe? Right? Yes, please, just scream it out. So location. Yeah. Okay. Who else felt safe? Why did you feel safe?
I'm just walking on campus, so the campus is really safe.
Why is that?
I don't know.
But you feel safe. Who else? Hands up if you felt safe again. You, please. Yeah.
It was like a 10-minute walk with like trees and family homes.
No cars around?
Some cars, but I was on the sidewalk.
Big sidewalk?
Pretty big, lots of
Trees,
walks.
stuff around? Very cool. Was there anyone that walked that did not feel safe? Wow. I want to move here. This is incredible. I'm going to utilize you guys. Just hold on. Okay. So don't sit yet. Okay. For the individuals that are standing and that walked, how many of you live within a 10-minute walk? How many within a 5-minute walk? How many within a 3-minute walk? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, behind you, 6, over there, and 10. Can I have you come up on stage? No, you just stay right where you are. Okay, so the car guys just moved back a bit. Everyone else, yeah, right in a good line of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I need one more volunteer. Anyone? Who took the bus? Oh my gosh. Public transit. I completely forgot about public transit. You're wearing glasses in red. Could I have you up here? Is that okay? Yeah. Thank you. Round of applause, yeah, for the bus rider. I know this is going to make absolutely no sense to you all, but I'm going to try and break this all down. One of my former jobs was with the Second City. We played a game called Make a Machine. So when we make a machine, we ask for one player to come right to the center. They get to create a motion. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as they can continue that movement. So it's a movement like this, or it could be a movement like this, or it could be a movement like this. But it has to be continuous. You have to continue doing it. You can't stop. So don't try and like do a hippity hop where you're gonna trip and fall into the stage. I need you to be careful. You do not have to touch the other person, but it needs to be something where you're creating some sort of pass off one way or the next. One person at a time, you're going to ask them to step into the ring, and you're gonna tell me what that machine is at the end. Is that cool? Do we understand what's going on? We're going to see a machine built right here in front of your very eyes. We have no idea what that machine is. I don't know who these people are, but they're gonna perform for us. We're gonna do this in under 3 minutes. We're starting now one person at a time. They need to just do a movement. Doesn't matter where they go in this space, and you're not pointing as to where they need to go or what they need to do. They just need to do a movement that will create a machine. Can we do that?
Am I directing?
All you're doing is just picking the next person.
So I pick a person, and I'm picking whatever I want to do for the machine.
You don't get to. You just get to pick them. Just tell them you're next. That's it. All right, we're starting now. One person. Any one of you can just step right up in the front. Doesn't matter who. Please. There you go. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Anytime. No, you're not doing it. You're picking one of these people. You're picking one of these. Got to be one of these people. So it's not that cars are. I'm giving you options, but I'm allowing you to pick who's next. Now you need to connect. So if he's moving back and forth, there you go. All right. Nice. Okay. Keep us going.
I don't get any other influence there.
That's it. I'm sorry. You're a car guy. Come on.
Green. On the end. And we'll go middle. Right and left.
I have no influence on this, haven't asked them to do anything, just we're creating a machine. Would you like them to go a bit faster or a bit slower?
Is there a third option? Slow.
Okay,
I'm gonna work within the.
all right, all right.
Faster. Okay.
What do we have here? What is this?
Oh, sorry, I thought it was obvious to everyone. This is state-of-the-art basketball conveyor belt.
Nice, liking it, liking it. What age group are we figuring that these basketballs are being made for?
Judging by the gauge, I would assume these are, like elementary school.
Elementary school. I like it, I'm liking it. How much do you think these balls may cost the average, sorry, what was the age again?
Elementary school.
Elementary school, so we're talking like 5, 6, 7-year-olds?
Yeah.
How much are you hoping that they're going to pay for these basketballs?
Well, this quality of machinery, this is a higher end product.
Higher end,
More like a Christmas present or maybe for like young athletes.
but not from Santa. Like, they have to go and buy this themselves.
Not a lot of kids are gonna be, I don't know what the wage is for a 10-year-old these days.
It differs from country to country.
This is like $100 basketball.
Okay, $100 basketball. This is the machine, please. Round of applause. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. You can go.
Drivers too?
Drivers as well. What did you all notice about what just went on there? Like, just give me what you felt was happening, bringing people that didn't know each other, people that weren't necessarily in on the joke. What did you notice that was going on? Please.
Collective subconscious,
Explain.
like, it's like something that we all have, like, that we're all thinking about, and kind of just absorb the energy in the room.
Wow, that's good. Another one. Anyone? Please.
The drivers made the rules.
Ooh. Is that a bad thing?
Depends if you're a driver or not.
Ah, okay. More. Anyone else? Oh, sorry, yes.
So they would get in sync at some point, but if there was a change, that coordination would break, and it could come back, or it could change again, so it wouldn't be able to get balanced again. So things change too quickly.
Drivers. Wow. Anyone else? So, okay. This was not brought up to be a war on cars, and I wanted to kind of give you a sense or an understanding that that was urban policy right in front of you. This is how we build shit in our cities. We try and bring together all of these different nodes. We put people literally on stage and we ask them to do something. And we have a couple of people that get to control what it is that they do. And then we say, thank you very much, get off the stage, and we're going to go and build our thing. And that's kind of what we did here. No good, no bad, and I'm not trying to pick on the drivers per se, but it was very interesting, the mindset of drivers making the decision. I like that. I'm going to remember that. So, hi everyone. My name is Lanrick Bennett. You got a little bit of an understanding of who I am, being the urbanist in residence at U of T School of Cities. I am here in your great city, and it is a great city, and I'm really excited to be here. I'm going on a bike ride tomorrow with a wonderful friend, and I'm going to get to explore the rest of this city. This is only my second time here in Halifax. I'm only here for about 48 hours, if that, but I'm going to make the best of it. You just saw a picture of my daughter and my son. Here is Jackson at 5 years old. My origin story is about my kids. I tripped into this entire urbanist, cycling, climate protection piece because of my kids. This was taken when he was 5 years old. He's being interviewed by Matt Galloway at the CBC. Jackson and I got to tour the city of Toronto by public transit. We took the bus to every single library in the city of Toronto. We visited 100 libraries. It took us 6 months. We spent weekends. We spent nights. It was crazy and exciting, and for me, it was the first blush into figuring out that, oh my gosh, my city can work and I don't necessarily have to drive. And again, this is not, I'm looking right at you two, and I'm so sorry, I've been picking on you. This is not going to be a war on cars. This is not going to be a war on cars. This is going to be talking about options. And when Deborah asked me to come to talk with students tonight and talk about sustainability, talking about how important climate is, for myself sitting on the climate advisory group for the city of Toronto, my biggest frustration is the fact that my streets aren't safe. And to get people to even think about the option of not being in a vehicle or being even present when we talk about how important dealing with the climate crisis that we're in, cycling is brought up as one of those big pieces. Lanrick, I can't cycle. I don't want to be on a bike. There's no chance that I'm going to be a part of your movement forward. So a lot of tonight, a lot of my talk with you is going to be about my frustration. And I'm hoping that by pushing that and putting that into your headspace, it will hopefully drive you, literally, to want to get more in gear with how we can break down many of the obstacles that I'm dealing with right now. So what happens when your 9-year-old wants to bike to school? Zoe's 9 years old, she comes into the kitchen. My wife and I are just finishing dinner. It's a Friday evening. Zoe walks up to both of us and basically says, "Hi, you two parental units, you've done a really good job. I'm really happy with everything that you've put forth, but I'm gonna be riding my bike to school on Monday. I just needed you guys to know about that." My wife at the time is the co-chair for the Ride to Conquer Cancer, and I am working at Queen's Park at the time, and I don't have a bike. I take the streetcar or I walk to work. So that Saturday, I buy myself a bike. That Sunday, I am riding with Zoe in parks, on the street, just trying to figure out, can I do this? And Monday morning, we are riding together. You have never seen a 9-year-old with so much enjoyment of her own existence. Exuberance is all I could see. While Zoe was in the painted bike lane of our street, I was in the middle of the street, literally on my bike, trying to do what most fathers would try and do, and that's protect his daughter. A 2.5-kilometer ride to her school, 12 minutes. It was awesome. And it wasn't just the ride to school. We started riding to the park, to the libraries. It was part of our connective tissue. It was awesome. I was having a great time. I was being a great dad. This was like great. We're riding through March, we're riding through April. Zoe is now getting connected because she is already talking with people at school about the fact that, hey, I'm riding my bike, I'm helping with climate change. This is a 9-year-old. Like, I'm not even doing anything other than just riding with my kid. And she is already in her head doing, I'm gonna be great. This is gonna be amazing. I'm gonna change the world. Mid-May hits, simple, normal day. We put on our helmets, we ride, get on our bikes, we're going down Jones Avenue. Going across Dundas, I drop Zoe off at her school. I'm riding back to work. I pass Dundas and Jones, and I ride past an ambulance and fire and police. And 15 minutes after I dropped Zoe off to her school, Douglas Crosby was killed at that same intersection. So Zoe lasted for about 3 months after that death. She wrote to our mayor, she wrote to the councillor, she wrote to our school trustee, she wrote to the MP, she wrote to the MPP. And even as a 9-year-old, and that's the letter that my daughter wrote to her counselor and her trustee. Even as a 9-year-old, my daughter could smell the bullshit, because the response that she got back from the mayor and from her counselor, same email, said exactly the same thing. And when she read that, her mindset was, these adults are not going to help me. These adults are not going to make it safer for myself, my dad, my friends, anyone else to ride a bike. So Zoe went on bike strike a day before Halloween. And she is a 17-year-old, wonderful young lady, ready to go to university right now. My daughter has not been on a bike since she was 9. Since she was 9. The politics of streets. Every choice on our streets is a political choice. Climate, safety, access are negotiated through street design. And resistance often comes from protecting the status quo, not evidence. The CBC actually followed my daughter to school. They put a camera, a GoPro on her bike, and they took the ride that she would be doing every day. And watching that video, and I don't have it here to show you, but watching it now, I get goosebumps, because where she was just like, nothing's gonna stop me, I'm gonna be amazing. I'm thinking in my head, holy jeez, how did we do that every single day? And how did I, as a dad, not like see all of the pieces of the puzzle that that I should have fixed? And I think that's maybe my biggest thing, is that I couldn't fix what was wrong, but I wanted to. I wanted to make sure that she could ride again. I wanted to make sure that everyone could be able to ride in my city. So we're going to fast forward a bit. Lanrick Bennett is now the urbanist in residence at the School of Cities, and that same street, Jones Avenue, is coming up for renewal, and we're going to build a protected bike lane, but we're not. We're not going to build that because of cars, because people need parking, because people need convenience, because people on bikes, even though they're vulnerable road users, they may not necessarily be the most important piece of how our city runs. And we must protect the parking that is there. So I'm wondering, for everyone here, and I'm sorry I can't see the people online, but for the people here, I'm wondering if you can tell me a policy piece in your city right now that's failed you. Is there something that you've seen that you figured, oh my gosh, it's going to be fixed because it has to be fixed, and the city didn't? Hi. Targets, yeah. Do you know why they, and thank you for bringing that up, because Vancouver just scrapped theirs. Edmonton and Calgary are talking about getting rid of theirs, and we're going to talk about Toronto in a bit. Why, do you know?
I work with the
Okay, anyone else? Thank you for sharing, thank you for sharing. So, back to the case study. Protecting cars from inconvenience instead of people from harm. We were so close. Worked on the numbers with the city. We did door-to-door asks of the public on Jones Avenue to require protected bike lanes. We pushed on the fact that these are your neighbors. These are people that are utilizing this piece of infrastructure, and all it is moving a painted bike lane that is in the street and moving it over to the sidewalk to make it safer for the people using their bikes. Even got to write a opinion piece on that for my neighborhood to push on this, and my elected official made it very clear that the cars and the parking needed to be the most important piece to this. In the end, all of these schools that I have marked down here, the majority of them hit Jones Avenue. This is a 2.5 kilometer street. Nothing special about this street other than the fact that we have so many different nodes that actually hit schools, and the potential for students to not have to be driven, but that they could take a bike ride to their school was dashed because we needed parking for cars. I wanted to bring this up as one of the many examples of how hard it is to talk about sustainability, talk about climate change, talk about the importance of what it is that I want to hope to do at the city, because I can't get people to even understand how significant it is to ride on a bike. We're at chapter 3 already. What safe streets actually deliver beyond the politics. And it's amazing how creating a street that is capable of being utilized and being an option for people where riding, walking, taking public transit, rolling across is so much more to an individual's mindset to be able to equitably move around their city, where not depending on a car isn't a war on cars. It is a testament to the fact that we've got options. We have ways in ourselves to be able to move across the city. I love this piece here. The trip data shows that 50% of Toronto trips under 5 kilometers, we're fighting over the most solvable trips. This piece is part of what Transform TO is all about. We wanted to shift as many of our potential drivers, potential commuters from having to deal with a car. We wanted to put 75% of them on a bike, allow them to walk, allow them to take public transit, all being in this safety cocoon. But it's been a challenge, a big challenge. Why this matters now. Climate action, it's more than just targets alone. Climate action is everyday life design. Our cities are producing the most emissions ever. It is, and talking about Toronto itself, I have a gas plant in my city. I have a gas plant that was built in the mid-90s. It was pumping out at about 50 to 60%, but because I've lost windmills and because I've lost solar panels, Next year, that gas plant is going to be cranked up to 98%. And to be living in a city like Toronto where we don't have coal anymore, which is awesome, but that we've now reverted to a gas plant to produce the electricity that is supposed to go into the EVs that are driving around my city, it becomes a bit of a, it's crap. It really is. There's no other way to put it. Transportation is Toronto's second largest emission source. The amount of vehicles that are in Toronto right now, it's suffocating. And we don't have space to bring in more vehicles, which only pushes the fact that we need to be looking at other means of transportation for our citizens. But as we may or may not know, bike lanes cause congestion, and we've been pushing to put more cars on our streets. C4 is highlighting that 2025 to 2030 is the everything, everywhere, all at once decade of climate action. A question out in the audience. How many of you, before coming into the sustainability window, how many of you actually thought about climate change being an important piece to you? That's so heartening. That's really wonderful. I'm going to pick on you. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. You. Yeah. Yeah. Us adults have kind of screwed up, haven't we? No, it's okay. No, and let me just say that my kids have no qualms in telling and asking, Daddy, what did you do today? Like, how did you fix things that you have been a part of? And yes, I go like this and go, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to answer you because I'm all the way out here in Halifax talking to this wonderful audience, hoping to convince them of how important their voice is and what it is that they're doing. I have to tell you, I'm kind of impressed, not kind of impressed, I'm really impressed with what I've already heard in just the fact that I think many of you believe this and you don't think that it's bullshit. You don't think that it's, just a bunch of random numbers. There's actually something that you all need to be a part of. Can I get a yay? Can I get a real yay? We're already at chapter 4, and I've only got like a bit here. So, as I said, I'm part of Transform TO. We set bold targets. 75% of our trips under 5 kilometers, a walking, cycling, transit, a complete connected cycle network, and equity-first mobility. I think we all can say yes to that. But ward politics undermine the city. Individual councillors can stall, reverse, or undermine citywide climate goals. And this has been a big piece that is happening in Toronto, where we have lofty goals, we have want to change. There's not the political will, or at least the political will is being taken aback. And we're not talking to young people about that. We're not asking if this matters or not. It's the ones that are voting that are usually older, that are usually whiter, that are usually making a bit more money. They're the ones that are putting their voices ahead of so many others. And it's really time for us to try and stand up and make a bit more noise. So for myself, I wrote a little piece to kind of connect both Transform TO, which is our overarching environmental requirements, and Vision Zero, which is just making it safer for people to to get around. And I posed this to our new chair of the city's Infrastructure and Environment Committee person. Vision Zero eliminates traffic deaths unless parking is involved. The City of Toronto is committed to eliminating traffic-related fatalities and serious injuries by 2030. You'll notice the asterisks up there. Core principles: no loss of life is acceptable on our streets. We will implement evidence-based safety improvements. Vulnerable road users deserve protection, and data will drive our decisions. You see all of those having asterisks beside them. The implementation strategy, though: install protected cycling infrastructure where it doesn't inconvenience drivers. Prioritizing ghost bikes over protected bike lanes as memorial infrastructure, because we need to make sure that people know that. If you don't know does anyone not know what a ghost bike is? So in the City of Toronto and other cities, Vancouver and a couple in the States, when a person on a bike is killed, we as the cycling community put a white ghost bike in the place where they get killed. Conduct extensive community consultations to find reasons not to implement safety measures. Defer to the loudest voices rather than the most vulnerable road users. Miscalculate parking impacts during planning phase to justify a reversal, which was the reason put forth for not putting a bike lane on Jones. Define balance as maintaining the automotive status quo. Another asterisk there: subject to parking availability and driver's convenience. I know this sounds a bit like I've written a piece in The Onion or the Beaverton, but this was kind of how I needed to voice my concern. Transform TO, net zero by 2040. This is the City of Toronto's big tent want. We want to be net zero by 2040. We are going to do it. Transportation commitments: reducing single occupancy vehicle trips, expand active transportation networks, prioritize sustainable mobility options, and create complete streets for all users. You'll notice 2 asterisks beside all of those. Our climate action is to build bike lanes that don't remove car storage. Encourage cycling on infrastructure that terrifies children. Promote painted protection as adequate safety measures. Ensure climate action never disrupts free car storage. It is amazing how cheap it is to park your car in the City of Toronto. And I'm talking like less than $20 a month. You can have a parking pass in front of your home to park your massive SUV. No questions asked, no questions charged. Define complete streets as streets that completely accommodate cars. Because why not? Because why not? Replace protective infrastructure with safety enhancements. We could put all sorts of different colors of paint. Contingent, of course, upon maintaining 100% of the existing parking spaces in the city. A big change in the City of Toronto right now is that we no longer have parking minimums for our new builds. So anything built since 2022, you don't need parking being built underneath it, which has been a boon for our condo market. Housing is a whole other piece of destruction right now, but if you're building something, you don't need parking in there. This was supposed to help promote people to take other means of getting around. Hasn't worked out that way yet. So just to conclude, frequently asked questions. What happens when Vision Zero conflicts with parking preservation? Answer: parking wins, always. Safety is important, but not as important as ensuring drivers have convenient storage for their private vehicles. How do you balance the needs of all road users? Well, we do this by ensuring vulnerable road users remain apparently vulnerable, while drivers maintain maximum comfort and convenience. What about the evidence showing protected infrastructure saves lives? Well, we prefer that the evidence showing that parking spots generate theoretical economic activity, which we value more than actual human lives. Just a follow-up to that question, why was option 2, protected cycle tracks, approved by council? The answer to that was before we remembered how much we loved parking. Our bad, our bad. I know, we can laugh, and this is a safe space, you're allowed to laugh. And I wrote this to show the absurdity of what it is that we craft as reasonable to talk about protected streets, to talk about climate action. Our elected officials, more so than not, haven't come to the table with the want or need or actionable push to make things better and make things happen. So I want to kind of, I don't want to conclude with such a dour note to all of you. So I wanted to write something to kind of push all of you forward. Cities and towns aren't just passive backdrops for climate change. They are the front line actors. That's all of you living in this city. Globally, municipalities control many of the levers that shape our carbon footprint. How people move, how we build buildings, how we've built them to be heated, how waste and land are used. Climate policy may be a national piece, but it's literally here on the ground that things are actionable, that things can change. There's a huge importance of local governments measuring their greenhouse gas emissions and emission sources. That baseline is foundational for any meaningful climate action. I'm wondering, just with this group in general, does the city of Halifax give you that type of data? Does that get pushed out to you? Just raise of hands, have you seen that type of stuff given to you at all? Open data, anything? Getting no hands. So local plans tend to address multiple sectors at once. Retrofitting buildings, shifting transportation modes, improving waste management, greening land use, and building resistance to climate impacts. Because local government knows their context imminently, land use patterns, mobility habits, community needs, they can tailor interventions for maximum effect and equity. I'm going to ask that again. Does any of this resonate? Does any of this come from the city to your mindset? Do you guys get to see this open data? Does that get pushed out to you? Hi.
There's this census profile
From
from 2021.
2021? Tell me what it says.
Basically, it talks about like population density and how many people living.
That's it?
And how many people walk or use bus or drive.
It is telling you that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a bit. That's good. Cities can often move quicker than the national governments. They don't need to negotiate trade-offs across entire economies. They just need local consensus. I'm wondering for, again, this group, and I'm putting this all on you because you're going to change the world, how many of you get to go to city council? Just raise of hands. How many of you have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the people that have not put their hands up, what's the barrier for you going to City Hall to make some noise about climate action? What stops you from going? We're at chapter 6. We're basically at the end here. The work ahead, policy plus people power. Real change will come from organized communities, not just plans. What needs to shift? That little piece there that you two just brought into play, it doesn't have to be hard to make your voices heard. I need you to understand that me being up here for the past 50 minutes, just kind of showing you the crap that we need to do just on one small bike lane. I literally just talked about a bike lane for about 50 minutes with you and how absolutely inane it was that I couldn't even get it to be a protected piece, but how much time and effort spending on that one piece didn't even allow me to get into tackling the climate crisis that's happening in my city. The fact that people that want to even have the mindset of going, hey, Lanrick, that transform TO sounds really cool, but the biking thing that you're bringing into play, I can't do that in my neighborhood because I don't have the means to make it safe for me and my kid to get to school. So we're just gonna jump in our SUV and we're gonna be good. Thanks so much. Like, it sounds ridiculous, but that's exactly the conversations that I'm having right now. I can't force any of you to get up and go to city council, to talk with your councilors, to talk with your mayor, to write letters to your MP or your MPP or anyone else that is literally in an elected office. But what I'm telling you is the fact that unless all of you start talking with all of your friends, start talking with your families, start talking in your classes, start making the noise that is necessary. Talking about sustainability, it's gonna be one of those just, yeah, you know, it would have been a nice to have. And it's going to fall on all of you to fix so much of the garbage that us adults kind of put on you. I don't want that. I don't want to go back home to tell my 17-year-old that I failed her once again, that I wasn't able to do the work that I needed to do to make a change. But I'm asking and I'm hoping that something like this, having the stage and space to really push the wanted envelope of change really makes a difference. I did tell you that this was going to be a bit of a wonky mindset, and I really wanted to make sure that this wasn't just a whole bunch of numbers coming up to you to talk about how important climate action is. This is hard stuff. This is stuff that I haven't even had even a decade behind me dealing with, but I want to make a change. I want you all to be a part of that, and thank you. I'll take questions.
Questions. I'm the runner tonight again.
I liked what you said earlier about the role of convenience. Comfort is something that I have been thinking about a lot, in the ways that personal comfort often overrides political and individual will to act. And I was hoping you would say more about that in terms, or specifically relating to this issue.
Oh, convenience. It is so very nice to be able to, on a cold day, open up your vehicle and kind of walk in and go, oh, I got that heated seat, and I can crank up, the heat coming out of the console. And then I think to myself, how many people don't have that option, don't necessarily even maybe need that option. We've put so much emphasis on making the creature comforts be the reason why we want to not have to lose things. I gotta tell you, riding my bike on a cold day, it's awesome. And I know that's not for everyone, but I get myself with like nice lined pants. I wear layers of clothing, and by the time I make it to my destination, I'm already peeling off clothes because I'm so hot. We've made the mindset of not being in a car some sort of just horribleness. You leave your house, you walk out of your house, let's just say, you put on boots, hat, gloves, mitts, whatnot, and you go out there. That's what I do when I go on my bike. That's what I do when I walk to the subway or the bus. I'm not doing anything magical, I'm just living in Canada. And I think that the comfort that we kind of put into vehicles is way overblown, way overblown. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Really enjoyed it. I just want to mention a couple of things. I'm on City Council. My name is Catherine Morse.
Hi.
And,
Thank you for coming.
my pleasure.
Yeah, please.
We do have an annual report on Halifax that is online, and we do report on our successes and failures as we're tracking our progress. And we are reducing emissions to some extent in HRM, but of course we have a long way to go. So I just want to mention that all that information is public. And also, we have a fairly long budget process in Halifax. We spend about 3 months working on our municipal budget. And our budget meetings are always open to the public at the beginning. So if anybody here wanted to come down and speak in favor of our Halifax Climate Action Plan, that would be very well received by council. We would really appreciate your support because we're divided on council. Some people are for it and some are against. Same with our bike infrastructure. We're a little over halfway with a completed bike network for Halifax, and some councillors are fighting it and don't want any more money to go into it, which would be a real shame because it's like building half a bridge. You know, it's a lot more useful if you finish it. Anyway, I just wanted to ask you a little bit about your experience and what happens when you have a premier who starts going after bike lanes and bike infrastructure, rip it out. How do you fight that kind of thing? Because our premier is also weighing into that.
Yeah,
discussion.
thank you. Thank you for coming. So I purposely did not talk about my premier in Ontario, not because I don't want to talk about Doug Ford. It has more to do with the fact that it's an easy target to point to my premier being the sole responsible piece of dealing with cycling infrastructure being ripped up in my city. Before the premier even brought that to his cabinet, I've had councillors in the city of Toronto just doing all they could to manipulate numbers, to push on the fact that, well, bike lanes cause congestion. Don't you all know that already? And this is not to discount what the province is doing. This is just to say that the problem is deep, it's local, and as a councillor, and I'm really happy that you're here. Thank you so very much for coming. But our elected officials are already doing some of the damage, doing a lot of that damage. It's nice to have the premier as kind of like the overarching umbrella of destructive force, but on a local lens, what your elected officials decide to do or not do is almost more damaging than anything that the province could put forth. And a lot of my advocacy right now is on targeting my councillors and explaining, putting forth that data, making sure that they understand that when we talk about dealing with congestion, with traffic, that more cars does not equate to anything more than creating more traffic and more congestion in the city.
It's all about the data.
It's all about the data, but it's also all about the fact that we need to have those elected officials believe in that data, and that is now becoming an issue that we didn't have even 2 or 3 years ago. People are not believing in the quantifiable data that's out there, which is scary. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think you'd want to talk to me again.
I'll just go cry in my car. I hate cyclists.
Hi there.
Bad joke. I feel like I've been watching the situation in Toronto, like the controversy or so-called war between cyclists and motorists for a long time, with kind of a comfortable remove. But as like a casual observer, I feel like 2025 was the year that controversy arrived in Halifax. And I'm sure a lot of people in this room know a lot better than I do, but it's something I'd never noticed before, and all of a sudden it feels like this year
Boom.
Politicians are scoring cheap points by complaining about bike lanes, and all of a sudden the media is framing it as a debate. And yeah, annoying people are like talking about it like they have important points to make. So like, if we are in the early stages of this, if you could turn back the clock and go back to the early stages of this controversy in Toronto, what would you do?
Oh man, that's a big question. One of our biggest missed opportunities in Toronto was unfortunately COVID. During the pandemic, we were able to roll out over 50 kilometers worth of cycling, pedestrian infrastructure. It was not permanent, but it was awesome. We shut down our major thoroughfare, the Lakeshore Boulevard. We transformed neighborhood streets into slow streets so that you couldn't, get anything over, 20 kilometers an hour. It was a brilliant way of creating space for people in a time frame that, frankly, we were all scared of even, walking beside each other. It was about 2 years, and I think if Toronto had had the political will, we would have kept everything that we built, and we didn't. And from there, you lost some of that connective tissue from those neighborhoods that saw potential, then it was ripped away, and then they were like, well, what am I gonna do? My councillor doesn't want this slow street, so it's gone. I think going back, I wish that as an advocate that I had pushed more on the permanency. I didn't know how long this pandemic was going to be. So in my mindset, that was the more important piece, but I wish I had had a broader view of there's potential. There's activations happening where we didn't even know that they would be happening. And I wish I had brought more people into play to trumpet that and to make it be something that was sticky as opposed to literally just wiping it away. And I will add to this, one of the biggest culprits to the demise, it was called Active TO in the city of Toronto, but one of our biggest pieces that got thrown away was actually the president of the Blue Jays. And we had a Lakeshore Boulevard was closed down, activated for people on bikes, pedestrians, joggers, whatnot, just no cars. And a letter to City Council basically bemoaning the fact that fans couldn't make it to the Rogers Centre. It was a detriment to the Blue Jays, and it would really affect them if this Active TO was kept going. So please just get rid of it. And well, the city did.
I just wanted to ask if you think a lot of focus being shifted towards using electric vehicles is maybe pulling some attention away for the need for more public transport and more, biking, walking, because it's very easy to create this idea, well, we are making these sustainable developments because now we're making it cheaper to get electric cars, or, we're having more charging ports around, but that's still creating that congestion on the streets. So do you think there's an issue of kind of like turning people's heads away to other issues where they are actually making developments?
An EV is still a car. and to myself, an electrically charged vehicle can do the exact same, if not worse, damage to me on a bike, or if I'm a pedestrian, I'm still in that same amount of danger. Putting all of our eggs into this shiny vehicle being the catalyst for climate protection is a fantasy. And that's not trying to, I'm not trying to poo-poo on electric vehicles, definitely better than gas-powered, but it's a vehicle taking up space. And if our cities are trying to future-proof themselves, we need to wean ourselves out of cars. We really need to be pushing on anything and everything else other than a vehicle. And as much as I love the War on Cars podcast, this is not a War on Cars speech to you. It's just the fact that we already understand that that war is done. We've got the data to prove the fact that vehicles are not, they're not the salvation. And any way, any means that we can push our cities to understand that and to start moving quickly away from that being the savior only does us better. How much time do we have?
Last question.
Last question, okay.
Kind of related to that
Yeah.
a little bit. So I recently got to visit a friend in London, England, and one of the things I noticed was the abundance of Lime bikes and the ability to get around faster than if we actually drove. Do you see that concept becoming something that would help get more bike lanes passed? Because we have scooters here, but it is not the same thing as the bike. Also, the people who use the scooters.
Thank you for the question. One of the big pieces in Toronto right now, Montreal's also got it, is our bike share. And that is a publicly run system. We have bikes now basically in every ward in the city, from Scarborough to Etobicoke, North York, downtown, of course. Putting more people on bikes and showcasing the fact that cycling as an option has very much challenged the city's pushback of bikes don't matter, people don't ride them, they do. If you're given that option, it's a great thing. Will that in turn create cycling infrastructure like it is in London or it is in many European countries? I don't know. It's hard to fathom with the municipal setups that we have right now, and we literally just touched on it. Data is not the pinnacle that it should be right now, where you can showcase the fact that people are using this, we should protect them. I'm fighting and pushing on how I can get my elected officials to understand that vulnerable road users should be the priority over everything else. I'm at time.
I have one comment.
Oh, hi, comment person online.
Shannon just wanted to add that I love when people fight for and bring attention to community issues. Small issues like bike lanes affect everyone, and each time more people become aware, others are upset, more people can feel more comfortable and safer voicing their discomfort. Even if long-term changes haven't happened yet, the support is increasing, and the more support increases, the more changes can be enforced. And she thanks you for your talk.
Round of applause to all of you. Thank you so very much. This is wonderful.
a small token of our appreciation.